All right, aloha everyone. Michelle Melendez with Blossom Inner Wellness and standtogetherhawaii.com. And I'm going to close this out. Okay, so let's see here. I'm doing my best with this meeting, and we might end up just doing the live stream without the screen share, but let's see here who's on here. Okay. Oh, this is what I'll do. Sorry, you guys, this is the kind of new. I'm going to take this down, take that down, go back here. Okay, we're on. Are you on, Matt? Am I on with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm trying to find you now.
Oh,
Zoom.
my picture shows up there for me.
Okay. Yeah. Let me end the streaming first. And well, this is weird because it's not. Okay. No, not yet. Okay. Sorry, everybody. I don't see any. Okay, so first off, let me just say that we are on with Captain Matt again. Thank God. It was amazing. And we're going to be talking about understanding the systems of how to get yourself, your sovereign being, your living man or woman out of this system. And I know people were freaking out because we were talking about IRS and not paying and all this stuff, but that's not what we were saying. So, okay, so you guys can you guys see me? I see some people coming on. Hi, everyone. It's Laurif and then Sean. Hi, all. Great. So I'm gonna just cancel that. I know that I'm streaming, but I'm trying to stop the screen share and then start again. Okay. Sorry, this is really weird for some reason. I can't find Matt and I. Matt, you're there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna come out and go back on with you because
Okay.
I can't see us. Cancel. I cannot see. Okay, there we go. All right, I found you. All right. All right, so let me do a share now. Window, Zoom, meeting, share. Okay. And then I'm going to scoot this over here. Now I can see the chat. All right, so sorry about that. A little bit techie issues. Okay, you can't hear Matt. Can you speak, Matt?
Yeah.
Say
Yeah. Can you hear
testing,
me?
testing, testing,
Yes.
testing.
Can you hear
Okay,
me?
great. All
Okay.
right. So I can hear you. I'm hoping everybody can hear you. So we're going to be talking about the IRS and understanding how to get yourself out, rescind or revoke the contract you have with them. It's your absolutely lawful right to do that. You have constitutional rights. You actually have unalienable rights from God to do this. So Matt, what do you want to share about this to start us off?
Yeah. So this is
Okay, you know what? I'm going to take this off.
first thing people need to understand is we're not telling anybody to go out and stop paying the IRS. What we're trying to present information to explain to everybody that what has been done, how we've all been tricked into this system of commerce. And we don't have to be in it. It's just our choice. It's all voluntary. It's unknowingly voluntary because we were told when we got hired on, oh yeah, you got to fill this out. You got to fill out your W-4. You got to do this. You got to do that. Because everybody thinks that it's what we have to do because nobody understands the system that we're in. Everything is commercial contracts. It's all commerce. And that's why they deal, the governments are all corporations. And they can only deal with other corporations or corporate entities. And that's why they deal with men and women as corporate entities. That's why they're sending you information in your all caps name, different versions of your all caps name. And they're not actually dealing with real men and women. And we unknowingly answer to those all caps names, thinking that it's us and not realizing this is all commercial contracts. Not understanding who the IRS is, what the IRS is. It is a foreign agency, foreign corporation collecting taxes for the Treasury that end up going mostly to the IMF, and all this stuff's being used against us. So we absolutely have the right to get out of this as men and women, as living, breathing men and women, but we have to rescind those contracts first. And that's why, that's what I'm trying to get people to understand here. And that's why I've given them resources to go to start learning this. Everything it's all commercial contracts. And so once you understand that, then you can take steps to get yourself out of it. The day you signed a 1040 form, you put yourself in the system. You stated under penalty of perjury that you were a resident or a U.S. citizen or resident of the United States, not knowing the definition of any of those terms. Okay. The United States is a federal corporation located in the District of Columbia. Now, we don't live there, even though we act like we do. We use their zip codes. We do when we tell on all these forms. Yeah, we don't understand what the federal government is. It is a 10 square mile area where they've done an overlay and over everything. And we put ourselves in that unknowingly, and we don't have to. So we can take ourselves back out. Free men and women live in the republic. That's what this is, a republic. And so
and what's the difference between a republic and a democracy? What is
right, exactly. No, we're in a republic, and it's our choice. Most people, you hear them all the time, they're trying to normalize this whole democracy thing. That's, I call it mobocracy, because that's really what it is. It's mob rule. It's 51% decide, the other 49% have no rights, basically, and the mob rules. So majority wins, and that's not how this was set up. So back to the Declaration of Independence, it talks about we have unalienable rights given to us by our Creator. Okay, and those can't be taken away, but they can be contracted away. We can contract them away, especially if we do it unknowingly, and that's exactly what has happened. Just like you can, your kid when he's 18 can go into the military and not realize what he's signing, what he signed up for, what he's contracted in for. So just a quick recap that I've stated before, one of the biggest things is U.S. citizen. That was created by the 14th Amendment. That is it is way less than one of we the people. We the people created the government, the Constitution. We created that to protect our rights. The 14th Amendment created the U.S. citizen. That was a government created the U.S. citizen, and they don't have constitutionally protected rights. They have whatever civil rights and duties given to them by the government. That's what the 14th Amendment U.S. citizens have. And so
that was created after the Civil War, you guys, because the slaves, they wanted to have a way for the slaves to be citizens, but they actually, what happened was they created us all as slaves. So it was, that's what the 14th Amendment was about. And the man who put it through, Stephen, starts with a T is his last name, can't remember how to say it right now. He was actually a Freemason. And he basically bullied everybody. He was horrible and helped put this through, the 14th Amendment. So this was the Jesuit empire, the Jesuit order infiltrated the United States, and they actually helped to start the Civil War because they wanted to divide the U.S. because they wanted to take it down. They didn't want us to be free. So sorry to interrupt you, Matt. But
no, that's all great info. Yeah, and I don't typically get into the weeds of all that, and I don't sound like you have a better understanding of who and when and how exactly than I do. But the bottom line is it happened. It's there. And I've broken it down before what it even says. Some of the answers are right in the very first sentence of the 14th Amendment. It says those persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. So persons, number one, we know person means corporation, trust, it's an entity, okay? Born in the United States means that corporation that is located in the District of Columbia, and it says, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. It doesn't say are subject to the jurisdiction thereof. So it's only talking about those entities that are subject to that jurisdiction thereof. That's when they're describing 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. So that's in the first sentence of the 14th Amendment. It's all right there once you understand the definition of those terms. And they've if you guys understood all these different terms and what they really mean. So many of these terms that we use on a daily basis that solidifies that we are these entities in this system, because we don't understand the terms that we're using against ourselves. And so that's all part of this education, is learning what terms to use and what terms not to use. So getting on to the IRS, once you start studying this, realize Title 26, that applies to persons, entities, not to live men and women. So once you pull yourself out, you send a letter to the Secretary of State stating that you're no longer choosing to be a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. You have a right to self-determination, and you're choosing to be one of the people of the several states of the Union and not a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. You have, constitutionally protected rights given to you by your creator. So you're going to send an affidavit, a notarized affidavit, to the U.S. Secretary of State with something like that verbiage in it. That's all it has to be. You're not asking for permission. You're telling them that because you have a right. If you didn't have that right, then we'd be under indentured servitude, and we all have a right to self-determination. So we are free. We just have to understand the system that we're in. So you do that first. Once you do that, then you can contact the Internal Revenue Service and send letters to them, letting them know you're no longer volunteering, that you were tricked into it, or whatever you want to say, and you're no longer choosing to volunteer into their system. Now that right there will rescind, and you can even put you tell them you're not a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. You're tricked into thinking you were, yada yada yada. And then from that point on, you're not in their jurisdiction. You don't ever want to fill out another 1040, because to fill out a 1040 form, you have to state under penalty of perjury that you are a U.S. citizen or resident and of that United States, of that federal district, So that's how we get in, and that's how we get out. That's how we got in, and that's how we get out of the system.
So somebody's asking, Jan, and I see everybody. Aloha, Jan and Y.E. Sean. Does Matt pay property taxes now, or did he get something from the IRS tax office saying he does not have to pay? You're not going to get anything from them saying you don't have to pay. They don't want you to. So anyway, I'll let Matt answer that.
Yeah. So property taxes are a totally different thing. I'm working on my property taxes. That's a totally separate thing. So that goes to the county. That has nothing to do with the IRS or the state taxing authority. It has to do with your county. And that's totally separate. And I'm not even encouraging anybody to do that until they really understand that. That's way more advanced. What I'm teaching here is basic, pretty easy stuff. To get out of property taxes is going to be a lot harder, a lot more steps. I'm not saying don't do it. But you have to really know the law and understand what they've done, how they've done it, and to be able to get out of that. It's going to be a lot harder. And that's something I'm working on, but I have not succeeded there yet. Did I answer everything there?
Yeah, that's it. So you guys were here for live because of any questions that you have about getting out of the system. This isn't easy, and this is not for everybody. But what is for everybody is to understand how we've been enslaved. That should be for everybody. And what the reason I'm saying it may not be for everybody, because it's going to take, you're going to have to want this. And I want this. When I first found this out, I was so angry. And I was just like, what the heck? They've completely lied to us. I couldn't get out of bed for 3 days. I always put in the very bottom of all my descriptions the two documentaries, I should say, the two documentaries that woke me up. And one was Zeitgeist, it's a 3-hour-long movie, and the other one was Money Masters 1996. That one's super, super dry, but it's worth it. It's worth it to take the days. It took me a couple days to get through them. Not Zeitgeist, though. I watched that all the way through and just cried like a baby when I realized everything I had thought about the government was a complete and utter lie. And they're not even a government, you guys. This is a U.S. corporation. It is a corporation that is helping Israel murder people. And it's not the Israeli government. This is the same people that have taken over our country, have enslaved us, have created the federal government, the Federal Reserve, which isn't even part of the government. The Federal Reserve is part of the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, J.P. Morgans. These Zionists, these British imperialists, these Jesuit order are the people that are enslaving everybody for one reason. New World Order, you guys have all said it, but it all comes back to P-O-P-E, the Pope in Rome. It goes back to Rome, because it's the Roman Catholic Church. Constantine created Catholic Church to because the Christians were actually, there was too many Christians, and they were going on their own path, and he wanted to pull them back in. So what they did was they created the Roman Catholic Church, and that's what happened. And then the Pope and the priests are all in charge of people, telling people the only way to get through God is through them. It all goes back to Rome, you guys. It all goes back to Rome. So I just throwing that in there. Yes, they gave us two different dictionaries. Black's Law, the law dictionary was for them, and ours was a Webster dictionary, which tells us that person means man or woman, but that's not what person means. So Matt, so let's see if you guys have any questions. I'll look for them. But Matt, do you want to share anything about the
Yeah, I do. So I'm glad you brought this up. Yeah, I mean, the reason I'm passionate about this is I personally wouldn't care if people want to waste their money on a foreign corporation that doesn't represent them. If they have to, that's their choice, and they don't want to take the time to learn this, then I really wouldn't care if they want to do that, you know. But I do really care, because by being in the system, everyone wants to, most people with a moral compass and, you know, are good people, and they don't like what's going on. They see the big picture. They see that the money that they're paying, that the government is not only doing a lot of evil things around the world, it's actually weaponized against ourselves. I think most people can see that now, that it's being weaponized against ourselves. So until we get out of this system, we're actually contributing. We're contributing by paying into this system. So by learning what I'm talking about here and getting out, you're no longer supporting this evil. You're no longer supporting the genocide that's going on in the Middle East. You're no longer supporting Ukraine war, all the evil stuff that's going on. You're no longer supporting it when you get out of this system. And that is the solution, the only solution that I see. It's not voting someone else in. There's no other solution that I see. It's understanding the system that we're in, that they've tricked us, that these are all just corporations providing governmental services, that we, the people, are still the original Constitution.
Oh, something's happening. Sorry, Matt. Is it me? Is it me? Oh.
We no longer are bankrolling them. We're bankrolling our own enslavement and the tyranny around worldwide, the global tyranny. We're bankrolling by being in this system. And I really believe this is the only solution, is getting out and learning and getting out and not being a part of the problem.
And it might just be for you to get out of the IRS, just rescind and revoke your contract with the IRS. And if that's that's as far as you want to go, then that's great. Because what there is, you know, there's different things that you do, but you really have to, the language around it and is important. So, Matt, can you let us know what person means in the legal aspect?
Yeah, I mean, I had a thing, I could probably read it. Yeah, here, right here. What is a person? Fiction. Person's always an artificial, quote, legal person is of one kind or another, legally generated. A legal person is any subject matter to which the law attributes a merely legal or fictitious personality. This extension is one of the most noteworthy feats of the legal imagination. Legal persons, being the arbitrary creations of the law, may be of as many kinds as the law pleases. Those recognized by our own system, however, fall within a single class, namely corporations or bodies corporate. So there's multiple different types. There's natural person, artificial person, juridical person. There's many different definitions, but anytime you're reading about persons in a statute, code, regulation, those are all legal persons. They're not talking about a man or a woman. So
yes, and then also share with about you said you were talking about parent and child, and I have to go grab my phone really fast, but parent and child, share with those, because
those are terms you don't want to use. You want to identify yourself as a mother or father, your child, it's not your child, it's your property or your offspring. So these are the words that you need to learn. And this is really it's you know, like learning public versus private. All this is public versus private. That's what it gets down to. You want to become a private man or woman, not a public entity. And then there's a whole list of terms and phrases that you want to learn as a living in the private. And so and I don't know if I've sent you, I know I've sent you stuff. I can send it again if you want, Michelle, about that, like public versus private.
Yes, please send those again to me. Also, you guys, I have a free freedom school. You can just click on the link and it's going to be in the description, but it's I'll put it here in the chat and I'm putting it for free because everybody should know this. Everybody needs to know this information, and it's important, and it is important for us to rescind our contracts with the IRS so we stop paying for these wars. And let me just tell you, these people, they have been funding both sides. They have been murdering American people. They have been murdering on both sides. They've been funding it with our tax dollars. So I think it's time that we stop doing that. And it just infuriates me. And what's happening in Israel, this was all planned. I did a video that said all world wars were planned 135 years ago. And they have planned each one because they want one world order. That is the whole thing. They want the Pope in Jerusalem. They want his headquarters to be in Jerusalem. That's why this is happening. So it's with this war in the Middle East, people go, this is crazy. Why can't they all get along? And why are they just killing each other? They want complete genocide against the Palestinian people, and they want the Pope in Jerusalem. That is the whole goal of this for hundreds of years. That has been their goal. So I just wanted to share that. But this is a freedom school. You can go check it out. And I'm just going to put it in the chat. And there we go. And any other questions? Go ahead, Matt.
Oh yeah, no, I just I know this probably seems overwhelming to a lot of people and a lot of questions, seems scary. Once you get into this and start understanding, they're never ever going to come after you as a man or woman. They can't. So when you understand that, it's kind of like a get out of jail free card. When you understand that, then you have to make sure that you're not giving them jurisdiction. And there's a lot of different ways. By answering to that all caps name, then you're giving them jurisdiction. By showing up in their courts and answering when they call your name, you're giving them jurisdiction because they're calling the name and the all caps name in court. So there's things that you can do. And I've seen that some of these other videos we've done, oh, Spike Lee did this, or so-and-so went to jail for doing that, or whatever. Every person that's gone to jail, unless they've actually murdered somebody or harmed somebody, they've broken a contract. It's all contract. So it's either civil or criminal. And what duty do we owe? There's look up Hale versus Henkel, that case law. There's different case law that show we owe a duty as men and women to nobody. We owe a duty to nobody, but we also have to do no harm. We can't hurt anybody. If we have a contract with somebody, then we have an obligation to fulfill that contract. So once we contract out, we are out. They might send letters to us in our all caps name trying to scare you, but that's not you. As long as you stand on your ground and understand that that's not you, and don't answer as if it is you. Answer, this is all commerce, and you do have to answer. Otherwise, there's rules of commerce. It's all about, it's about learning commerce and the rules of commerce, because you can use those rules against them. You send them affidavits of disproving that you're a man or woman, that you have a contract with them, and they can't answer it. And then you get tacit agreement on their side. Silence is acquiescence, that they agree that you have no contract with them. And that's how this works. So it's just a matter of understanding these things. They're only big and scary when you're contracted in with them. Just like going into the military. Am I afraid of the military doing something? No, I haven't contracted in with them. I haven't agreed to go into the military. But if I signed a contract with them, heck yeah, I better do what I agreed to. That's all this is. It's all contract. This
That's
is
why
a
they always
this is a
want
great
it to
book.
be.
It's called Commercial Law Applied. It's a great book, give you a good understanding how things work. It's by David E. Robinson. So I recommend it. And then the other thing I was going to say is it's understanding everything it's upfront, challenging jurisdiction upfront. You don't ever want to play in their courts and in their arenas if you don't belong in their arenas. So just like Title 26, the Internal Revenue Code, okay, has nothing to do with the Internal Revenue Service. That's a collection agency, a foreign corporation, just a collection agency. But the Internal Revenue Code is one of the 50 codes, and Title 26. And that deals with entities, corporations, trusts. So if somebody's coming at you, the IRS is coming at you, you deal with Title 15, which is trade and commerce, or commerce and trade. There's a booklet that's called under the Federal Trade Commission called Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. And that talks about the rights that men and women have and how you can hold any debt collector accountable, and make them validate their debt. These are things you want to, now you're fighting as a man or a woman when you're invoking Title 15 instead of going into their arena in Title 26, showing yourself losing all your rights as an entity. So these are the things that you need to understand. It talks about that in this book. So anyway, do you have something to say, Michelle?
Well, I have a question. And also, this is great. If you guys please like, share, and subscribe, it just helps get this out to more people. But somebody's asking about their Social Security, and also, things that they've already. That's contracts, so they can't take that away from you because you've already contracted in with that. But go ahead, Matt. What would you say to that?
Yeah, and in Social Security, it's just there's no issue with Social Security. If anything, you paid more in than you're probably going to get out potentially. You paid into it and you get your money out of it. You paid, it is into that all caps name, but that's fine. You learn how to use that all caps name. You can be the beneficiary of the all caps name. You just don't hold the liabilities with that all caps entity. So there's no issue with Social Security. You do this and you'll still get your Social Security. You'll be unaffected.
So yeah, so I want to say that what he's saying again, if you guys are just coming on, your all caps name was given to you at your birth. Your name, my name, Michelle Melendez, is in all capital letters on my Social Security card. That is not me. My birth certificate, my living certificate, my live birth certificate. So there's two certificates. One is from the hospital that says birth certificate, and then the other one is from the state that says live certificate or live birth certificate or live birth, I think it is.
Certificate of live birth.
That's the one, certificate of live birth. So those two, but that is creating an entity, a fictitious entity. That's not me. That just has my name on it. Like it's a business. It's literally its own corporation, a business.
It's a security instrument.
So security instrument. So that what happens is that security instrument then goes to the Federal Reserve, which is owned by these foreign bankers. I told you guys, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, JP Morgan, they own these Federal Reserve. They wanted to get the central bank into America for a very long time, and they succeeded in 1913 with Woodrow Wilson, who put it through, who one of his main advisors was a Jesuit. It all goes back. They wanted to have the central bank. So then what happens is my certificate of live birth then goes in to the Federal Reserve, which then creates, they print money out of nothing, and they give it to the government based on, I think it's the estimated of how many taxes I'll pay in my lifetime. It's usually, I heard it's between $600,000 to $700,000 per person. And so that is what he's talking about when he says all caps name. That's your all caps name. It's a fictitious entity created at your birth that they are using against you to enslave the person. I'm sorry, see, look, check me out. The living woman or living man, to enslave you. That's how you were enslaved, was at birth, you guys. Your parents did not know they were doing this to you. They had it done to them. Anything else you want to share around that, Matt?
Yeah, and I don't even look at it, to me, it's as long as you understand this, then it's easy. That's not an issue. It's not an issue. And once you understand it, you just make it very clear that you're not that all caps entity. They can create whatever security instruments they want with names that look like mine, as long as I don't answer to those and I make it clear that I'm not those. I mean, I actually did an adult name change in the court system to putting my name on the record. I grabbed all the different variations of my name in all cap forms. And I said, no, this is my name. It's properly spelled, you know, first initial capitalized, and then the rest in the proper form of each first, middle, and last name. And so that was another way. I didn't need to do that, but that was even stronger. And then you can do your assumed names, where you do it doing business as with those all caps names. So there's things you can do to separate yourself from that all caps name and not answered. But the first thing is really getting that letter out to the U.S. Secretary of State. That really does it. And then just backing it up from then on with your actions and not undoing that, not answering going forward to that all caps entity, and not being intimidated when you see that when it comes in the mail. You're like, okay, take a deep breath. This is not me. This is that all caps entity. How am I going to handle this? You need to respond. You need to respond to it, but not as if it's you. You just let them know, hey, if you know, I received this bill or I received this notice to this all caps in my mailbox. If this was went for me, the living man, then this is, please send it to me. And this is how my name in the proper form, because I do not answer to this or whatever. And if you believe a debt is owed, then I want a wedding signature from the man or woman claiming I owe a debt, you know, under penalty of perjury. And now, boom, okay, it's back in their court. So that's,
you guys, court back and forth.
yeah, so that's all this is. It's a game. It's a game, and it's just learning the rules of the game. And we need to get out of this game, because being in the game, we're contributing and we're funding it. That everything that we don't like that's going on, we are the ones that are making it happen. Every one of us combined putting into this system, and that's how we have to get out of it, is stop playing the game. And I really believe that to my core. There's no voting. It doesn't matter. These corporations are controlled. These corporations providing governmental services are all bought and paid for. You know, it was one of the Rothschild, give me a control of a nation's money and I care not who makes its laws. I mean, that's what we're living right now. And you can see it. The only way to stop it is to stop playing, get out, stop funding it, stop supporting it. And then we create our de jure government that we're supposed to have.
Yeah. And you know, what's great is because I think it was Buckminster, that guy.
Fuller, Buckminster Fuller.
Yes. He's the one that said you can't stop a system. You can't change a system in the system. You have to create a new system. This is the new system, you guys. This is the new system. And I also want to say, Choosy Heretic, this person wrote, after sinking the Titanic, then they made the Federal Reserve. Yes, I just read about this. There were about 5 different very wealthy families that could have stopped the Federal Reserve from going into place, being put into place. They were all on the Titanic. The guy, the captain who was on the Titanic and running the Titanic was a captain for 25 years. And he was a Jesuit. And he was going full steam in ocean waters that he had been sailing in for 25 years. He knew he had 8 different telegrams telling him to slow down, be cautious because of all the icebergs. He knew exactly what he was doing. All of those people that could have stopped the Federal Reserve from coming into play died on the Titanic. So you are completely right. It was actually brilliant way for them to make it look like a complete accident. And these massive, crazy people don't care how many people they murder. They do not care how many people they murder, obviously, because look at Israel and look at Palestine. So let's do our part and standing tall, and the living men and women that we are, taking back our power, revoking and rescinding these contracts. Make sure that you revoke and rescind. Don't just stop. You have to take your power back by rescinding and revoking the contracts that we unwittingly and were manipulated into signing. So anything else you want to share, Matt? And then we'll do a prayer.
No, just unless anybody has any, it'd be great to answer the questions now, because I'm not going to go through and the chat if people have questions or want to tell me about so-and-so that did this or this doesn't work or this or that. I mean, if you don't think it works, then don't do it. But it absolutely, it's all contracts and it works. You just have to learn it and decide you want to do it and put the time in. And it's like learning another language. There's no shortcuts. You just have to put the time in. But if you want to learn another language and free yourself, then we're giving you the foundational stuff on how to do it. And I'll give you the information to put in the links in of information resources again. So that's it. So,
I have a question. This is a good question. Okay, where did it go? Oh, there it is. After we notify the IRS, we have to notify our work, or do the taxes stop automatically? They're not going to stop automatically.
yeah, no, you're going to need to change your withholding, obviously, at work, and do it. I think it's a 1040 NR, I believe. That's non-resident. So as far as the Internal Revenue Code is concerned, for their definitions, we are considered non-resident aliens because we don't reside in the federal zone. We're alien to that zone and corporation. So I mean, that's really what we are. We're non-resident aliens to that foreign corporation that's located in the District of Columbia. And so NR is for non-residents. So that's what you would file, or the W-4, whatever that is that you file with your work. I think it's a W-4 or whatever. It would be
W-9? W-4?
No, I think you want to do, I'm sorry, it's W-8-B-E-N, W-8-B-E-N. I'm pretty sure it's a W-8-B-E-N. I did this after I was retired, but I'm pretty sure it's a W-8-B-E-N. That's up for foreign benefit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what you want to do. I know it is W-8-B-E-N. And look into this stuff. Look into this stuff and don't take my word on this. Do your own research. But yeah, it's a W-8-B-E-N is what you want to do once you get out.
The number 8 and then boy and Nancy. W-8.
Oh, boy, Edward, Nancy. W-8-B-E-N.
Okay, I put that in the chat. W-8, the number 8, B as in boy, E as in Edward, and N as in Nancy.
But don't do this until you understand it. Don't do this until you've read through weissparis.com, until you've read sedm.org documents, till you really have a good understanding of how this all works. Purchase this book and understand it, and then you do this and you'll feel good about it and you'll feel confident.
Yes.
And you'll be the part of the solution.
Yes, absolutely. So again, you guys, this is our journey. We each need to take responsibility for our own journey. Don't do this because Matt and Michelle said to do this. Okay, you have to understand what you're doing, and you have to understand the language around it. And we can do this. We can do this. It's going to take some effort. It's going to take some tenacity. But each one of us has the strength to do this. And we can do this for the people that have been murdered, are being murdered, and who will be murdered today and tomorrow and this rest of this month because of this war. That the only reason they're having this war is because they need the one world government. That's the whole reason for this. The United Nations, those were the whole reason for World War II. Yeah, United Nations happened after World War II, and it brought everybody together. Guess who's in charge of that? Karl Schwab, whose father was a Nazi. So this all goes into one order that's doing all of this madness. But for us, for our kuleana, for our job and our journey, we need to understand that we are contracted in with a United States corporation. It is not the government. And we take our stand back, we take our power back by rescinding our contracts. Learn this stuff, grab Matt's book, and you can check out the Freedom School. I put it in the chat. And yes. Okay, so that's it, you guys. I'm going to put on my headset so I can do my prayer in case anybody walks by. It'll be quiet. And then I'll take it off again for Matt and I to complete with you guys. All right. Okay, you guys can hear me okay? Okay, good. All right, here I go. Great Spirit, infinite intelligence of all things, we know that this is a game, that we, our higher selves, came to play in these living men and women bodies on this amazing planet, this beautiful Mother Earth. And we know that we are free right now, right in this present moment, we are free. And this planet is becoming more and more harmonious with all sentient beings, all life on Earth, and all life matters. It matters to every single person, to every single living man and living woman on the planet. And Great Spirit, we just give so much gratitude for our higher selves guiding us each and every step of the way and giving us courage the times that we need it, because now is that time. And Great Spirit, we just give surrendering all of our fear. We just let it go up to you, Great Spirit, because you've got this. Mother Earth, you've got this. The power of love surrounds the planet, and the consciousness of Jesus Christ, which is unconditional love, holds every single person in light and in freedom and in sovereignty and in absolute unconditional love. And we know that that is the truth of who we truly are and where we come from. So we follow our inner guidance. We do what is ours to do and what we can do. Because we may not be able to tell these dark entities that are murdering people on all shores to stop what they're doing. But what we can do is rescind the contracts that we have with them to fund these wars. And what we can do is be kind to each other and clean up any relationships that are personally to us. And we can start showing more and more love to strangers, to our families and friends, and most importantly, love to ourselves in these human bodies that have been through so much. And Great Spirit, we give so much gratitude because this world is becoming free. And these dark entities know it. And they do not want to let go. And Great Spirit, we know that you are more powerful than any dark entity on the planet. And that these dark entities, their time has come and they are leaving. They are leaving this planet, never to be returned again. And all people who are in positions of power are either stepping down or being peaceably removed from office. That this planet is truly free. That all people are sovereign. That all men and women, living men and women, girls and boys, are kept safe and are free. And we know that this is true, and we know that it is now, and so it is. Matt, thank you so much for your time and always your amazing information.
Thank you, Michelle. Thanks for offering this platform to try to get this information out. I just really think this is so important, and this is the solution. So this is the solution that will bring the change that we all are wanting. So thank you, Michelle.
Love it. Okay, you guys, much aloha. Please like and share and subscribe. And again, that Freedom School is for you. And I put it in the chat, and I'll put it in the blossominnerwellness.com/freedom school. All right, much aloha. Okay, great job. Nice.
Recording, it's still recording.
It's still recording us on this side.
Oh.